Bench with Jacob Hester and Matt Flynn.
Okay, here we go.
Where the plays get broken down and science gets denied.
Hey, they said I gotta come off the bench.
Hour 2 of Off the Bench, live from the Raising Cane studio.
Again, OTB hour number 2 here live from Tampa, Florida. SEC Media Days, LSU Day. Mississippi State, Texas, and Arkansas here as well.
Doesn't matter.
I don't know, man. I got a little beef with some of the Austin stations that just showed up today.
Yeah, there is one down here that they literally
That's the
was putting up
biggest
their
step and repeat I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, they made a mistake and went with the 10-foot wide. I've done it because a lot of conferences you do 10 by 10s is the booth you get. So you get a 10-foot wide. You want to cover it. But most of the times you're in like little hotels like this, and it's actually 8 by 10.
Yeah.
So it sticks out.
You've messed this up as well.
So I was watching them do it, and I was like, rookies. Big dum-dums.
Yeah, just show up for Texas Day.
Show up for Texas Day. Like, that's Texas fans, man.
Ah, so true.
That's Texas fans. I grew up with them, you know.
What is the breakdown there in Tyler? A little mixed bag?
Yeah, it's a mixed bag. I think that's probably most places in Texas. It's pretty mixed bag, except for the
like
college
the actual town.
Yeah. Texas fan, there's a lot. There was probably fewer Baylor fans growing up, but I'm sure there's more now. A little bit sexier now.
You say Baylor fans?
Yeah.
Like Sick'em?
Yeah.
Okay. Thought it was just
not Gig 'em.
Thought it was just Ruth and Alvin.
Or Hook 'em.
I thought it was just Ruth and Alvin.
Yeah. And their offspring.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's more, but not a lot.
Your siblings go to Baylor too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're the trader.
I was the trader.
I'm glad you traded.
Yeah, not a big deal.
Appreciate that.
They were all happy.
Probably not.
They
Actually, Baylor was
not very
really
good.
bad in football.
I think our senior. I think my senior year in 2002. It was Guy Morris's first year.
Yeah.
At Baylor coming from Kentucky. Yeah, and he was not real nice to my dad. Like during the recruiting stuff. Yeah, he was like, if it was me, I wouldn't send my son to Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And my dad was like, excuse me, like, you don't think that I've done my research on this thing? Because my dad played. He played quarterback there in the 60s, so a lot of people thought he was a shoo-in. And my dad kind of lost some,
really?
At least for a little bit. Had some friends that were
my
not real
guy.
nice to him. Y'all stink.
Y'all are horrible.
Yeah.
Chip and Joanna don't even live in Waco yet. What are you selling here?
Yeah. My God. It's Guy Morris, people. Relax.
It was always, whenever you had to call the coach to turn them down, it wasn't very fun as 17 for you, 23 for me.
Yeah, obviously.
It wasn't very fun to have to do that.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
Having to call Mac Brown and be like, hey, coach, I appreciate everything you did, and I appreciate you offering me. I did. We've talked about if LSU ever offered me, what it was probably going to be. It's LSU.
LSU
was by the way, Mac was awesome. There were some coaches, I don't even remember who the Miami coach was. He was a bum about it, but Mac was awesome.
Yeah, he's always been that's what he was known for growing up. He was always known for being a very high-level recruiter. One of those guys that could get along with anybody, could tell stories, could just draw you in as a human being. And that was one of the reasons why he was so successful. Now, I think it's his football coaching probably went downhill a little bit, but not his relationship building. I think he's back in Austin. I think he's back in Austin and doing.
That would make sense.
And probably, I don't know what in official capacity, but certainly helping around the
as he should
around the program.
Yeah, he absolutely should be. No doubt about it.
All right, I think Rivers going over there to check the podium right now. Lane Kiffin should be, hopefully any minute now. We can't sit here and promise you exactly what time, but any minute now, be taking the podium, and we will be We'll be bringing you that
We've
coverage.
got Alondra and Cassie back in studio doing a great job listening out for it as well. They're going to be able to throw it up, carry it for you. So look forward to that. And again, I hope we do. And he's going to have an opening statement. I don't know how long it's going to be, but I hope we do get some actual football stuff in there.
If you had to ask him one question.
See, don't ask me that because you're not going to like the answer. I'm going to ask about football. I'm going to ask about X's and O's.
Why wouldn't I like it?
Well, you know what I mean. It's like a general, people aren't going to like it. I wouldn't be like anything Ole Miss. I would ask him, LSU was 126 in rushing last year. You are a guy that has a point of emphasis to run the football. You do it as well as anybody in the country. You had a back, Kewan Lacey, that was one of the best, went over 1,500 yards last year, had 300-plus carries. What are you going to do to fix the LSU running attack that's been really bad outside of Jaden Daniels for a long time?
Yeah.
That would be my question. Hadn't thought about it.
You go get your hand up.
He can see these.
Oh, no doubt.
Hey,
Lane.
Lane,
buddy.
right here.
You think anybody's going to have their hand up for a question for Lane? Any of the media members?
Probably.
They don't really care.
Yeah. You know, so this is your second year to do this. Typically on Thursday, there's zero juice in this room.
Yeah, there's nothing.
There's nothing here. It is what it is. Eli Drinkwood, you should, make fun of himself talking about it all the time. That's not going to be the case today. There's going to be plenty of people in there.
I would kind of ask him the question I asked Whit. I was like, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that you're carrying going into the season. It's your first year. What is your determining factor? What is the bar you've set for a successful season?
All right. Well, we're going to find out the questions that are being asked. We are going to throw it back to studio. Alondra, Cassie going to have Lane Kiffin live from the podium here for you on OTB.
Cal, the last paragraph I have, I call the "Someone Give Knox a Hug for Me" paragraph. Last year, I introduced Lane by talking about his prolific social media activity. As of this morning, Lane has been off of social media since May 11th. I'm told he gave it up because of a challenge from his son Knox, thus my suggestion that someone give Knox a hug for me, who told his dad, you spend too much time on social media. Welcome to the podium, LSU head football coach, Lane Kiffin.
Well, thank you, Commissioner. I met the Commissioner 17 years ago. I was head coach at Tennessee, and I just think about, you can never predict the future of your life and the directions that it goes. 17 years later, third SEC job. He was the associate commissioner at the time, and for Commissioner Slive. And I just have great respect for Greg and what he's done. And then I think about the 17 years, and I think about how far the SEC has come since then, when I first got into the conference and through his leadership. Leadership, especially in the public eye, is not easy. And he has a really difficult job. And I think Greg does an amazing job of communicating with us as head coaches. And we don't always agree on his decisions, but I also understand now, being around longer, and he has 16 schools to please, and fan bases, and athletic directors, head coaches, and presidents to answer to. So many times his decisions that he has to come up, and I appreciate him for the strength that he shows, is really he's just making a decision based off what he's told to do by the ADs, and specifically by the president. So I appreciate Greg. I appreciate our friendship, and kind of growing through a lot of things together throughout the different stops of coming back to the SEC. Tampa is a really special place. I think it's kind of, things just happen sometimes, and flying down here, just kind of putting thoughts together. That as the head coach of LSU, this being the first time on the podium at SEC Media Day, and it being in Tampa for the first time, as Greg alluded to, this is a really special place, not just for my dad, but for my family. My kids, all four grandparents lived here in Tampa. This was a place that we came to every summer in great memories, and the Glaziers of the Bucks have been phenomenal to our family throughout everything, and over the last 2 summers of losing both parents and both having services down here in Tampa. So really great place and really a lot of great memories here and a lot of appreciation for people here over our time in Tampa. So these 7 months at LSU have been awesome. It's been amazing, to come into Baton Rouge in the state of Louisiana and the acceptance and how great they've been to my family. And the commissioner talked about, to have a son, Knox, playing on campus, and every morning they practice, and then he just can walk over from practice onto campus is really special, and how the community's been to us as family and the state. Over 7 months, just seeing that Louisiana is built off hardworking people that are really passionate and love football. And I think that really fits in well with our staff and the values and principles that we bring into our organization, into our football program. So that's been great. And there's so many things to do in Baton Rouge and then New Orleans right up the road. It's been great for our staff and for their families, and been very appreciative of that. One of the things that has really stuck out to me has been the alignment at LSU from the top down, from President Roos to Verge Osbury, athletic director, to our board of supervisors. That alignment has been great from the first time I met with them. And then a lot of times people, schools recruit just like coaches do. And then is it that way when you get there? And it's been amazing, that alignment and commitment to building a championship program has been great. One of the things at LSU in taking it was talking about, the opportunities for the football players and the ability to recruit great players around the country. And one of those things is branding, one of the reasons you come to LSU. We talk about it being just different. This week I was meeting with our Nike rep. Think about how different it is for kids in NIL opportunities to come to LSU. We have 12 football players that have NIL deals with Nike. No school in America has more than 8. So think about the difference of that as branding about coming to LSU as a football player. Jordan Seaton, our left tackle, has an NIL deal with Nike. There has never been an offensive lineman ever to have one in college with Nike. So, that's just one of the many things when we talk about LSU being different and why it is a different place to come, and when you come and the association with LSU and the branding that goes with that nationally has really been amazing to see. And that really goes into the blueprint of what we're building, and what I said 7 months ago when I took the job. We're coming to LSU to sign the best players in the country out of high school, and then mix that with the best portal players in the country and put them together. And that's led us into this roster that we have now, which is a really good mixture of that. You have some elite high school players we just signed, some of the best D linemen in America, that'll be true freshmen, and then some elite portal, first-round portal players coming in that combination. That roster is exciting to work with. I can't wait to get to the field, to get back to fall camp to do that. But it also excites me about the future of LSU too, not just this year. We put together a roster that can win now. But as I look at when you build the program, where it really will go to another level is how you build your depth. And that you can't necessarily build the first year, but then you can once you sign the high school players in back-to-back classes and portal players. Remember, guys, I think the portal is thought so much about like every portal player is a senior or a one-year player. That's not the case. A lot of times you sign a portal player, they may have 2-3 years of eligibility left. So then you have them in your program. Now you go into year 2, you've coached them already. Maybe they didn't even, all the portal players aren't top players. You build your depth through that. So they may be backups in year 1, and then year 2, they're your starters. So that's really exciting to me that we were able to build a roster that we can win now, and to see the success of the high school elite players coming last year, committing this year into this class, And then the portal players that we're able to sign in such a short period of time last year, and now to have a whole year leading up to that, the future is really bright and really amazing at LSU of what's to come. You know, when you take over a program, it's really exciting. You know, I'm really fortunate. Commissioner and I were talking back there, and Feinbaum, our historian of SEC, you know, gave me the stat. There's never been a head coach to have 3 SEC jobs, and that were in the conference. And that's really amazing to have those opportunities and be part of that. And it's so exciting for me when you take over a new job. And I've just kind of, if you follow my life, I've built my life about pushing out of comfort. And that may not be for everybody, and that's fine. That's just how I am. And so this job has really pushed me out of comfort to take a new job, to be at LSU, like everyone talks about the pressure of LSU and what comes with that. And there's more things to be done as the head coach of LSU than anywhere I've been that are asked of me. And I've really enjoyed that, and it's been exciting to do that and to rebuild within a program, a roster, and to come in and a team come off of a 7-6 season. And then the expectations that everybody in the media has that we're supposed to be this great team right away. That's an awesome challenge. You want to talk about getting uncomfortable, that does it. You know, expectations make you uncomfortable. They make you not be able to just go through motions in any aspect of your program. So that's been awesome. And I really just can't wait to get on the field with them. You know, this has been 7 months. There's been a lot of stuff, and you have the high school, then you have the portal, and you have spring ball, and you have all the things. And to just go coach with them on the field and to put these players together and start moving the pieces around and get them developed. That's always been something I think we've done really well, and also has always been really exciting to me. When you take the pieces of a new team's new years, and if you look at our teams over the course of time, especially offensively, they look different every year because they're based off of the pieces. They don't just run the same plays and run the same systems. And that's exciting to me, to come in and get these pieces from everywhere and to put them together, but you got to get on the grass to do it. And the excitement of the schedule and to coach in Tiger Stadium and have the big opener against Clemson, just really every day pushes us to be the best and really is exciting, as I say, to get back there. So the 3 players today that we brought, that wasn't an easy choice. We had a lot of really, really good players. And, you know, we brought 3 players. We left Sam, our quarterback. This is an interesting time where this fell. We actually this morning had player-led practices, and so Sam was able to stay for that. And Sam's doing an amazing job. You know, these 3 players that we brought today, I think, are an interesting combination because you get a little bit of everything, to me, of what college football is now. You know, TJ coming through the portal, coming from Ole Miss to LSU, having been here a year before with another school. You'd never thought that happened years ago. And so to have a portal player that left a team to come to us, and then you have Witt that had a chance to go to the NFL draft. And a lot of people would have in his situation with a coaching change and having played really well. And Witt decided to stay. He wanted to see LSU return to dominance, to return to the style of play that he grew up watching, which was the reason why he came here. And he wanted to come back to make sure he was part of that. And then you have Trey Dez, of someone that in high school stayed in Louisiana, went to LSU, and now playing great, and also had a chance to go into the portal like all kids and decided to stay with the new staff. So I think you'll really enjoy these 3. And again, that was a tough decision because there's a lot of household name players we could have brought today. You know, the question the commissioner mentioned there about social media and Knox. And so I think as I look back over my life, one of the things that has been great is subtracting things as you get older. And I think that's a big part of growth. If you really want to keep growing, a lot of people add things as they go versus subtracting things that are issues, whether that's diet, whether that's, in my situation, alcohol, whether that's things that are subtracted along the way toxic relationships, things that as you grow, you decide, okay, I'm going to continue to grow. And Knox one day is like, Dad, there's no way you could get off social media. And if you know me, like, that's the best thing to do. My kids have learned that too. If they really want something, just say, I can't do it, and I'm going to do it. And so I'm like, well, I bet I can. And it really wasn't a plan. And so I got off of all of it. And then it was still on there. And then I said, okay, I'm going to go to another level. And I just deleted the apps. And it wasn't a long-term plan. And it was really interesting to see as I went through it, because Knox pushing me to do that, challenging me, allowed me to help other players, friends, coaches to say, man, you should try this sometime. Because once you remove something from your life, you start to realize how many other people are addicted to it or need it. And it is interesting now. I did the 5 a.m. workout at Camp Tampa, and I watched as soon as the workout's over this morning, what does everybody do? They rush to get their phones because they got to get on there. And to be free of that has been interesting because you don't compare. Kevin Elko, who actually here in Tampa did my dad's funeral, and Kevin used to say to us years ago at Alabama, he'd say, comparisons are the thief of joy. And what I realized and what I talk to people about now is like, if you're not on anything, you don't see anything all day, you don't compare. Because now social media does what? You sit there all day long and you start to compare your job, you start to compare the city you live in, you start to compare your vacation, your kids, your clothes, your car, your significant other. And when you don't see that all day, you're free of that comparison. So it's been an interesting study. I've always, made our kids, our players, not have their phones in certain times, like team meetings and stuff, just to get them off of them so they can learn to communicate. But it's been interesting and a way of being more present. So I appreciate Knox challenging me on that, and it's been great. The other question I get is the 9-game schedule. And like I said, I don't always agree with the commissioner, but he has hard decisions to make, and we understand that. My concern was about the 9 games is that you're going to lose non-conference games. Teams will eventually get out of the bigger non-conference games because the selection process is not fixed. Until that is fixed, to really, truly reward strength of schedule, I was against it because I think what you're going to have is more conference losses. And you don't prove anything. If I'd keep playing, if we're all in the same conference, we keep playing each other, we don't really prove that we're better than anyone else, and we're taking away out-of-conference games. So I just think that it's going to cause issues that we've already seen until we can get to a world where people can actually look at teams and say, that team that is 9-3 with their schedule is a better team than that 11-1 in a different conference, which now I think we aren't even close to doing that. I think it causes a problem because we don't have enough non-conference in our sport. I look at other sports like baseball. Oklahoma just wins a national championship in baseball. Well, I think they're 14-16 in SEC play. Think about that. In football, we'd be nowhere near the playoffs. An 11th in regular season, and they win the national championship. But they also have non-conference games to show how good they are. And so I just think that the system wasn't ready for that change yet until they changed the selection part. Last part, I just want to say thank you to the media. Everybody talks, these coaches get up here and I see the things, on TV, watch their day, they talk about their summer and everything they did and all those things, and you guys giving up your time here in your summer to be here to cover us. And specifically to the SEC media, it's part of what makes the SEC so special because the intensity of the media and the coverage and the passion that everyone talks about the fans have, well, the media has it too. So I appreciate you guys, and with that, open to questions.
All right, if you have a question, we have Lauren, Peyton, and Lane who have microphones. Come up here, and we'll start right here in front of me, Coach, second row, Kirk, right in the middle.
Kirk Bowles from the Houston Chronicle. Lane asked you a few years ago what your NIL budget was at Ole Miss, and you didn't say, but you said, God, I'd like to tell you. I was going to give you a second chance today, ask you what your NIL budget at LSU is, and do you think we're ever going to see the day where every team's payroll and every player's salary is published?
Yeah, I don't know that we're going to see that day. I think that again, this is a really hard thing to get to, but if to do it right, just like the scheduling would need to be fixed, and would be to have a real salary cap. And I know what looked like it was going to be implemented, coming with the revenue sharing, that's not, I think I've always been the coach up here to just tell you how it is, that's not being followed because it's not a real cap. It's not a hard cap. So that'd be like in the NFL, like, hey, we have this cap, but it's not a hard cap, and you can go above it. So it's just really a poor system. And like you said, things aren't public. The contracts aren't public. So different than the NFL, where the NFL, everybody has the contracts of all the players and the other teams and everything. And then you have long-term contracts. I think one of the things too is I talk about this system of, I believe you build a system based off of where you are. We talked about you build your offensive system off your players. You build your system of how many portal players, high school players. In my opinion, it's not, hey, here's the cookie cutter formula wherever you are. You go to LSU, you do it different than you did at Ole Miss. And so as you build it, though, you can't say, in my opinion, some people will say, okay, the traditional power should just build through high school. Well, you study the NFL and they say, okay, well, yes, the best teams over time, you will sustain the longest by building through the draft and supplement through free agency, because that's where the long-term contracts are at the lower prices than the free agency. But our system doesn't have that. Now, if you could fix it where the high school kids, my opinion, they should be lower. Just like I was in the NFL when we drafted Jamarcus Russell before they moved down the rookie salary cap. And then they made the slots for the draft because the veterans, the rookies were getting paid more than the 10-year vets. Well, they got that fixed. And that in our system's a little bit screwed up, in my opinion. The kids that haven't played at all coming out of high school should be making less, and that there should be a freshman, like a rookie cap of how they are, and then the max slots per position that they make. And then they're signed to multi-year contracts. So now you really do get into, okay, you build through high school because that guy can stay longer. Think if you built through high school now, if that's all you did. And I think a couple schools have done that, and it's not working out well because you don't have the kid. They can leave after year one when they don't play as much as they like, or they want more money, or they do play and then they want more money. So that's why we built so much through the portal, and we'll continue to build a lot through the portal because of the way the system is. Even though we can sign great elite top 100 high school players like we just did, like what's committing to us, but we're still going to build a lot through the portal until they balance out the system and they balance out how contracts work.
Coach, we'll go over here to our left-hand side, third row.
Hey, Coach. Michael Bratton from That SEC Podcast. When you were at Ole Miss, you led them to the third most wins in the conference since 22. You had 10 players drafted or signed as free agents in the 25 draft, 8 players drafted or signed as free agents in the 26 class. You had a top 4 portal class each of the last 3 portal cycles you were there. Jackson Dart, first-round pick. Yet in a Vanity Fair article, you said Oxford diversity hurt you in talent acquisition. So is it your belief that if there was a little bit more diversity, all those numbers I cited could have been even better?
I had a feeling that was going somewhere. You were doing like really positive stuff the whole way through. I'm like, man, this guy's good. It sounds like you should go work for Jimmy Sexton, man. You're like going a good direction there. I made a challenging decision and change. And I think as I look back to that, I thought I could find a way for everybody to understand. And now as I look back later on, that was never going to happen. And I made a decision that I changed jobs. And as I get older and I go through things and losing both parents, I was actually talking to Ross Dellinger, and I kind of said something that might sound kind of funny to you, but I watched the Hulk Hogan special. And I realized something. I was like, we're all going to die. And so some of the things that we put importance on, we worry about, and what this person says and that, like, really aren't going to matter. And when I lost my dad, I started thinking that. And I really started thinking, when I grew up, there were 2 people that I thought just wouldn't die. My dad and Hulk Hogan. And then I watched that special and realized, like, Hulk Hogan died too. Like, there's no way Hulk Hogan was ever going to not wrestle and die. And he did. And so it just made me reflect really on, like, I can't be so concerned about little things and what people say and this. And you got to make decisions. You got to go with them. And you do things and you make really good decisions and you make poor decisions. And that was a poor usage of a term that I believe, just like many coaches that have been there for, was factual, but over the course of a long interview was bad timing and bad usage of the word. So it is what it is. I apologize when I said it, and moving on.
Got time for two more. We'll start here in the center aisle.
Hey, Coach. Daryl Dapprich, Locked on Auburn. After a 2-year hiatus, Auburn and LSU play again this year. Talk about what that game means to you. There seems to be a nice little rivalry with Auburn and some of the things in the past. And how is Malik Blockton progressing for you?
Yeah, Malik's doing great, really working hard. Made a lot of plays in spring ball. I think Auburn's a great program. I think they got new energy with the coaching staff and a really good offensive system coming in and keeping DJ Durkin on defense. I think that they're going to be a really improved program, and that's a really hard place to play always, and really gives people a lot of problems. Kind of a magical stadium that magical things happen in. So that's one of many extremely competitive games we have, including really for the first time that you have 5 road conference games.
Which will go one final question over here on our right-hand side, over to the right.
Thanks. Hey, Coach, this way, other way.
Yep.
I'm Eddie Pels from AP. I think at some point after your social media cleanse, Congress introduced a bill that has a thing in it called the Lane Kiffin rule. It's about coach movement. I think with that and with a lot of the things that have been said about your move, I'm just wondering, do you think you get a bad rap about, they look at you sometimes and say that's the problem with everything? Do you think you get a bad rap?
Well, the good thing is I don't know if I do, because I don't read anything. So it really is a different way of not seeing, like you just said that, and I didn't know that until you said it. And I guess in that, I hope that some way for future coaches, they're not put in that situation. The NFL, you're never put in that situation because of the calendar and because of the rules of movement within season. So I do hope for future people that's fixed so that you're not in that same predicament for players, for coaches, which really was a player issue too. And then we fixed that with moving the portal date back. That was more of an issue earlier in the postseason too, as you saw players having to leave teams to get into the portal during the season. So hopefully some way they fix it for coaches too.
All right, Coach Kiffin, thank you for your time this morning.
All right, guys, thank you.
All right, that was LSU head coach Lane Kiffin at the podium there. A lot to get to, and also a lot of breaks to get to try to play a little catch up there. We'll start that process now. More OTB when we come back here live from Tampa.
Off the bench.
All right, go to bathfitter.com, bathfitter.com. If you've been wanting to have an upgrade, right? If you have wanted something new, but you're worried it's going to take a week, it's going to take 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, it's going to be debris everywhere, it's going to be multiple people in and out of my house, that is not the case. Bathfitter, a lot of times, in as little as 1 day, they're going to be able to completely change your space. So you can go to their website. You can go check them out at bathfitter.com, bathfitter.com, and you can go see them in the showroom as well in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Go see them at bathfitter.com.
That's right. If you are looking for a bath remodel, you want to change your space, maybe turn that little old shower into a tub, whatever it is, 40 years experience and a lifetime warranty on every single bath, Bathfitter. It just fits. Bathfitter.com to book your free consultation, bathfitter.com.
Live from the 2026 SEC Football Media Days in Tampa. Presented by FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake, Relief Windows, Rev Fiber, and Parrish Construction and Roofing.
All right, welcome back in. OTB, we are not going to lie to you. That was a 30-minute press conference, and we got breaks to make up. So a couple of minute segment here, and we got to try to catch up on the clock. But Lane Kiffin only got to ask 4 questions.
It was an absolute pro move by Lane to give a monologue for over 20 minutes. So there wasn't a lot of time for questions.
Yeah,
I don't think that was planned.
I don't know. It should. Hey, I would have done it.
Yeah, for sure.
In the same way. But you made a great point. He got asked 4 questions, and one guy asked him about Auburn.
Yeah, 4 questions, and one guy asked him about Auburn. Exactly the fireworks we were hoping for right there. Lane was like, wow, we didn't prep for the Auburn question I was going to get.
He did mention Hulk Hogan, so shout out.
Yeah,
he's a WWE fan.
Yep, that was. We didn't learn a lot from the questions.
Yeah, no, we did not.
But, you know, he got a little deep. He did. You know, part of his decision making was, you know, the realization after people in his life have died that, you know, you only live once. So, make the decisions that make you happy. So,
I didn't even think about the aspect of him coming to Tampa, and he probably grew up in Tampa.
Yeah.
I mean, as a young, you know, I'm not saying like grew up, you know, as a teenager and young adult. His dad's a defense coordinator here for a long time, so probably something pretty special about this place. We certainly heard him mention that. So, yeah, I was hopeful that somebody would ask him a football question about the team he's coaching now. We didn't get that, which is fine. It's not something that I really expected to happen. I'm going to have him a little bit later on today on SiriusXM, so hopefully we can talk a little bit more football than we did here in that moment.
Yeah, certainly with 4 questions, you're not going to get to that. There was a couple of the first 2 questions were very pointed. One being about like what's the, you know, with you think there'll ever be like some sort of stable salary cap? Do you think players' salaries will be public knowledge, ever published, and things like that? So then the second question, very well thought out. A guy was definitely trying to get him to say something. He asked him, you know, you had all this talent.
He tried to set him up.
It was a good setup too. It was like, you had this many draft picks. You had a first-round quarterback. You had this, and this these years. Well, do you think if there was more diversity at Ole Miss, you think he could have been better? So I thought he handled the question, I mean, as well as you could.
You know what would have been
apologized.
The ultimate troll, and he apologized for it, but the ultimate troll would have been like, here's what LSU's had drafted over the last times, and then rolled it off. And so, not a lot of football questions in there. We didn't really expect there to be too much. Only 4 questions, and again, one was about Auburn, and one was in a way trying to talk about the Vanity Fair article that he had that he already apologized again here on the podium. So, all right, we do have to play catch up again. Like, that was a 30-minute press conference. We didn't think it was going to go that long, so we're going to play a little bit of catch up here. More OTB when we come back.
Off the bench.
All right, go to centralplumbing.org. Centralplumbing.org in Central, obviously, in the greater Baton Rouge area, obviously, but now also in the Lafayette area. Central Plumbing is expanding, and it's always going to be there 24/7, 365, weekend, holiday, game day, does not matter, emergency service. But don't forget about the upgrades they can do. Don't forget about the tankless hot water heater if you never want to run out of hot water again, or maybe you want to do a small upgrade. You need a new vanity, you need something, a new tile maybe in your bathroom at your home. They can do it all. It's not just emergencies. It's a one-stop shop. Centralplumbing.org.
So Central Plumbing, your plumbing experts, and they've been your plumbing experts for a long, long time. This is a 3rd-generation company. The Payne family been doing the great work. Plumbing, we're talking water lines, we're talking gas lines, and there's nothing too crazy, there's nothing too wild, big, small, whatever it is in the plumbing game that they are not already experts at. So give them a call, centralplumbing.org.
Live from the 2026 SEC Football Media Days in Tampa. Presented by FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake, Relief Windows, Rev Fiber, and Parrish Construction and Roofing.
All right, welcome back in. OTB here live, continuing our coverage of SEC Media Days. Lane Kiffin just took the podium. You heard it here. And if you didn't, you can go back and certainly you can rewind on the show and check that out. I guess a little surprised by some of the questions that Lane got. Like, I was expecting either more, just Ole Miss and like gotcha type questions. And the one guy tried, but or like maybe some football questions and how are you going to win games? I don't know. It wasn't really what I was expecting. It was only 4 questions. Lane did a good job of having that opening statement ready to go, but.
Yeah, that was probably the plan, I would assume. Let's talk long so we don't get a lot of questions. Yeah. But, I mean, there's nothing that you can point at and be like, he didn't do this, he didn't do that. I mean, he got 4 questions, and one of them was about Auburn football, which they probably should have screened that one. That was a waste of time.
Hey, when you get up there and – correct me if I'm wrong, and look, I'm not a big J journalist. Maybe Moscona, who's right here, maybe he can answer this question. But like, hey, we're from Locked On Cox. Hey, sorry, and that's not a shot at Marla. I'm just giving you an example. Obviously, Marla would be good to ask a question. It works for us. You're not going.
Yeah, you're not going.
You're not going. It's the LSU coach.
Yep. All Louisiana and Mississippi reporters. Y'all have.
Yeah. No Locked On Auburn. Like, sorry, bud, you don't get to ask a question.
Yep. Right? You don't get to think about what Lane thinks of the coaching change at Auburn. Yeah. But look, the answer he got on the second question, the one that the guy tried to set him up with the diversity question, the Vanity Fair article, like he was ready for that, and he would have probably given that same answer with multiple different types of setup questions like that. Yeah. He was ready for it. You could tell he wanted to make sure that people knew that he apologized for that. He was wrong. He didn't handle that time right. He misread the room a little bit. And look, pat the chest. We always say you can make mistakes. Just pat the chest. Yeah. And he did.
Don't do a Brendan Sorsby.
Yeah, don't be like Brendan.
Don't put the arms out. Put the arms on your chest. So, a little bit later on when I get I'm asking football questions, and we'll send those back.
You should. Yeah.
And we'll have them here for you on the station. We'll probably play some of those. Oh, God, we got to work tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like in the studio and stuff.
Yeah. Back in Baton Rouge, baby.
Today's not Friday.
Today is not Friday.
So we'll have it for you tomorrow then. But that way, because I think our listeners do, because our listeners aren't Ole Miss. They don't care. Like, they don't care about all that. They care about winning. And they care about LSU football and what it looks like moving forward. I'm not saying that those other people shouldn't care about that. I'm telling you what the people that we talk to every day care about. And so I want to get some actual, hey, here's where LSU was bad last year. Here's where you were really good. How do you make LSU good at what you were good at that they were bad at?
Yeah, I mean, you're known for being an offensive guru. Yeah. Your offenses have always been really good. Last year, look at what you did at Ole Miss, obviously. How fast can you implement that? Like, does it not take a little bit to cook? You don't have to bake that a little, like that offensive strategy. You don't have to bake for a year. Like, can you expect the same type of production you are known for in a short period of time with all new people?
Yeah. All right. Again, we do apologize. We were going, we carried the entire press conference, but we're going to have to play a little catch up here with some of the breaks. So this will be the last one that we have to catch up on, and then we kind of get back onto our normal clock. So one more break here, then we're back to our normal clock. More OTB when we come back.
Off the bench.
All right, go to russellpools.com, the website for Russell Pool Company. They have been your leaders for multiple decades, since the 1960s in South Louisiana. We know that they can build that custom design for you. We know that about them. They're going to give you an incredible custom pool. You don't have to believe us. Go check it out, russellpools.com. You'll be blown away with the gallery of work. But sit down, have the conversation with them, tell them your dream, and then your dream becomes a reality. Also, if you bought a house and it's not your dream pool, you don't love the pool, guess what they can do? They can upgrade your current existing pool. We're not talking about new plaster. We're talking about bells and whistles added to your kidney-shaped pool of the house that you bought. Or maybe you've had it for 20 years and you want a little bit something new in your backyard. They can also do that over at Russell Pool Company.
Yeah, not every company can do a pool renovation. It is such detailed work. It takes an expert level of care and attention to detail when it comes to those pools. To be able to renovate a pool and change it, they are the experts over there at everything pool. So go check them out, russellpools.com.
Live from the 2026 SEC Football Media Days in Tampa. Presented by FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake, Relief Windows, Rev Fiber, and Parish Construction and Roofing.
welcome back in OTB, continuing our coverage. SEC Media Days here live from Tampa. Trey'Dez Greenstall.
Hey, my gosh. He is so
posted
tall.
that picture and we were both like, oh man, this is wow. So tall.
Because we had just started talking about, man, Whit looks really tall today. Like, it's, most people don't think about him being tall, but he's formidable height, and standing next to Trey'Dez looks like a shorty.
Yeah.
And everybody does.
Yeah, it's fine. Everybody does. We don't have the time here in this because, again, play a little catch up from the Lane Kiffin press conference. But in the next hour, I do want you to kind of tell the people what you can do with a tight end in your offense that's a cheat code like that.
Yeah.
Because you've played with some really good ones in your career, a lot of different skill sets, I would say, as well, but guys that were very effective. And as a quarterback, I think there's things that when you have a tight end that is oftentimes the best player on the field, that gives you so many advantages, and you can utilize it in so many different ways. And that's our hope for Trey'Dez Green.
Yeah, I mean, it's a weapon that is a guy like that. It's a unicorn, right? It's not many people ever in their coaching career get an opportunity to coach a guy like that has that many weapons: athletic, tall, lanky. Now, of course, there's more and more teams using more and more tight ends, but a guy like that you can split out one-on-one, you can put in the box, like, he creates so many disadvantages for the other team and so many advantages for you. So
yeah,
it's going to be the challenge. I mean, certainly it's pressure for the coaching staff to figure out how to utilize them, but not force the ball to them.
Yeah, so I do want to talk about that. Also, how you don't fall into tendencies with a tight end like that. So we will start off hour number 3 of OTB with that when we come back.
Off the bench.
All right, go to KTZBlinds.com, KTOZBlinds.com, KTZ Interiors and Outdoor Living. They have been in the game since 2004. Have Brandon Barton and the team come out to your space, know your space, learn your space, change your space in a matter of minutes. They have done it for me. They certainly will do it for you as well. It is so impressive with how fast they can do it. They are going to come in, and you've maybe lived your house 5-10 years, and you think you know it pretty well. Maybe you do, but you don't know it as well as they're going to know it in 15 minutes. It's truly amazing. KTZBlinds.com.
That's right, KTZ Interiors and Outdoor Living. We're talking window coverings, y'all. So curtains, drapes, shades, whatever it is, motorized, manual, it doesn't matter. And how about the outdoor motorized shades up and down? Turn that outdoor living area into an extension of your entertaining space in your house. Up and down in the heat of the summer, it's going to keep it about 10 to 15 degrees cooler right in there when you turn those things down. So go check them out, KTZ Interiors and Outdoor Living, KTZBlinds.com.